Hello and welcome as it is the end of the second day of March 2018. My name is Derek, and like always, everything you do is your own risk, own reward. I did not take any risk whatsoever on code TX, that of transfer coin. And I've been thinking even for a while, you know what, it'd be an interesting idea just to literally play every coin that they have. I just can't. I mean, I could, but I didn't, I guess you could say. And when I talk about these coins, it's no surprise whenever I see movements like I see in here, where these things just have love in an elevator, like Aerosmith once sung in a song before. And that's what it seems like a lot of times it is when you have these wild, wild moves. Now, one thing that I've been thinking about before as an interesting strategy is playing the 100% game or the 50%, anywhere between 50 to 100% game. It's simple mathematically, where all you do is you buy at a certain number and then you sell for that much of a gain, and then you buy back at the exact same levels every time. So therefore, in a situation in playing this game, as we can see, just going back in here, you buy at something even like a 10,000 price. Okay, so now you buy, and the math is easy, especially if you got a calculator. What's 100% gain or double? That's about 20. Okay, that's where you sell if it gets there. And what happens if it gets cut in half? Yeah, you buy more. Okay, so the market would move, and there's a spot where it would have a move where it doubled instantly. If you're waiting to buy it back, well, we can see if we sold at 20, we want to buy back at that 10 handle. We're waiting. And now it almost came back down here just in the recent time frame, and now it's there. And you just sold it again at 20. Well, that took a long time to happen. That didn't work out quite as well. If you played, obviously, stuff like maybe a 50% gain, how could something like that have worked? You buy back at the 10,000. You sell at 15. Okay, try to buy back at 10. Well, it's very easy to sell out of positions, not get them back, if you buy and sell everything at that point. Now, with a lot of the mechanisms I talk about, or basically how I trade, is I want to ensure that if a market wants to go on a hog wild move to the upside and just go straight up to whatever kind of degrees, that way I figure is if, say, I'm selling here at around the 11 and change area, I think selling up here again works out pretty good. It's a decent size difference in price, but mathematically, I'm able to get another decent gain. Maybe again somewhere in here, because you're now going from, say, 17 up to 24. That's about 40%. So now you'd be like, okay, well, where's about after 24, you're looking to maybe go 33, 34. So maybe you go some in here. And then maybe, again, if you're lucky, you can sell in here. When the price bottoms down to this point in here, definite easy good play here for sure. This one is an easy profit. This one, if you timed right, could be profit. So there's two buybacks for sure that could get resold and then rebought back again. So a double trade win. to us pretty much anyway. And then you move again in time and you're able to sell again when this happens. And it's not like, oh, it's easy to see now when you're looking after the fact. Well, when I see it live and the price is well above the 18 average like it is now, then I know to sell. And if I sell here, generally speaking, one of the easiest things to see is if it goes up here, 18 average lows. So there's always a spot where, oh, so now I'm going to look to have a sell order here. And then as the market moves on, you start to notice in here, difficult to take, maybe. However, one might state, 18 average of lows declined, got above it a bit. But this is what I love about this game. Because if you got, say, this sale here, you were able to get this buyback. But if you didn't get this sale, I'm not going to buy it down here because I most likely would have bought somewhere around here somewhere, and I don't want to buy it back again at the same price or in the area of the same price that I had before. So you're trying to get as many successful plays as you can. And when we look at just having your orders in quickly for a lot of these things, if I see that I had this buy order fill, and I got it filled at, say, around the 13,550 mark even, then I'm going to notice that the 18 average of highs is at 24,000. I'm also going to realize that 14,000 moving to 24,000 is a difference of 10,000 basis points. So I know I'm getting better than 50%. So that tells me to sell at the average of highs, not above it, but even at it. And selling here, whether you bought it back here, which was the easy spot to do, or you bought it back for a cheaper price, either way, the transaction becomes profitable. And I guess you could use the hodl set for when you have down moves to just hold it on. And then when moves like this occur, the question is, how are your sell orders placed? How do you adjust your sell orders when they first happen? Because you could have a situation in here where, say you sell at this top, maybe, if you're lucky. Okay, place a sell order here. For the next one, try to buy it back down here. And then you have the sell order place. On this day, you're going to manage it again. Where do I want to place my next one? When the markets go up like this, it's a matter of how many times you get your sell orders in. Because it's, again, so easy to determine when to buy and sell. And when you sell here, let's just assume you sell again up at these points. I might only have a couple places left to sell. And I realize if I sell out of these, so be it. I got so many different other boats available on exchanges, boats being different codes. And heck, I don't fear missing boats when there's new ones along the way. It's like fearing to miss a subway at a major city. They just come every 7 minutes. They come there's lots available is what I'm saying. But it's only a matter of when and how big and where at and where from this thing has major move back. Because it will reach back with the 18 average of lows, and in time it's going to have a decent move below it as well. Because, as I've stated many times on this channel before, it's like a game where you switch turns. It's a chess match. It's a heads-up battle between two beings. One has a turn, and then they pass the dice to the other one, and they do their turn. So the bear's turn in here, the bulls are rolling the dice right now. All right then, just wanted to go over some of these quick little aspects in here. And a bunch of circles and drawings that you can see, but I'm bringing this up because how can you tell just by looking beforehand that these moves would happen? Well, one, you can't tell just beforehand you're going to have this big of a move, but you know that a lot of them have had transitions like this before where they go up 2, 3, 4, 10, 20 times. And that's just what they do. So you know if they've done it before and they consistently do it over and over again, it's insane to think it's not going to happen again. That's why there's a part of me that's like, you know what, just buy every single code. I'll take every single rise. I'll take every single bust. But I realize that there's going to be a lot of moves like this coming in. And as we've seen in here with any, like even when I talk about the this sell in here, given the price came back down to here, I mean, technically you could have bought this back as well too. So they will usually always get back cheaper. And one thing I don't mind about this game is what I was basically selling out, realizing that the first few amounts that you sell are never going to be seen again. Where, for example, using this particular rally as an example, let me just remove these drawings so I can redraw over it again. So let's just assume you got in this for the first time. You bought some in here. You bought some in here. Maybe you bought some again in here. And then you sold some here. You've sold some here. And you've sold some here. You've had 3 sell orders hit. Well, there's a chance that price action will never, ever come close to this 15 handle again. Because maybe this thing goes up to, say, 80. Then pulls back down to, say, 22. And that's the lowest we'll ever see it again. And that's possible. And everything you sell in these earlier areas are just going to be tied in buy orders. And maybe at some point when the market goes up so much, you just take those Bitcoin and you buy some other coin with it. Or you do whatever else you'd want to do with that Bitcoin that you'd sell it for. Because that's what the whole purpose of this is to do. And yeah, so anyway, just wanted to share some light on stuff like this because I see a lot more of these types of moves happening now. And as I've been just talking about a little bit when I referenced the WebBot in its last report, which is now over 2 months old now, that the time where these wild ride for cryptos, which is basically starting now and heading in for a significant period of time, almost deja vu 2017, where March, April, May into June, just bullish. It'll be interesting if it happens because it'll just wow me even more if it does. It'll wow my portfolio that much greater, of course. So yeah, we'll wait and see. But yeah, for several days, it's been nothing but buying here and there, barely selling anything at all, and then buying more. But lately, I've been having more and more sell orders come into play, like SLS and many other ones. I'm just taking a look quickly to see what's anything big, like this one here. This one's starting to turn about. So now, the chances that this thing can, say, gain 100% over the next 3 days, it's a lot greater now than it was any time when the price was below the 18 average of lows. So with code BRK, selling opportunities as it broke down below this 18 average of lows on all of February. So the entire month of February was basically buy zone for this code. There was no selling. And for the first time since briefly and only barely any good, January 28th, but really since the first time, since the start of the year, we can start to say we're now in a sell zone. And you're in a sell zone if you bought down here. If you bought at like down at this 27, you can get a small profit, but it's barely at that. I can see why you're like, yeah, that's not good enough. I need to go up a bit higher to like 41 to start selling. I totally understand that. But it does give you the reason why this thing could very easily get going, because when these things go, they can really, really fly. And I never get surprised when I see these moves. I'm at the point now where when I wake up in the morning, I'm always going to be checking on Bittrex when I wake up. What's the biggest percentage gainers? They give you on their page what the top 2 are. And you always hope it's one of the ones that you got and then it's got a big move and you're going to do well with your trades. That's what I hope every morning when I wake up. But when I wake up tomorrow morning, I'm going to expect Bitcoin, I think, to be doing really well. And I haven't looked at Bitcoin in like a half an hour. I mean, I'm expecting big things out of it for the day and the weeks coming, as you have price action coming down this 18 as it is. And what I like about the session on Friday, which only like is what, a 3-4% day, is how it rode and stayed above the 18 average of highs, which was basically the resistance over the last few days. And I see price action barely above it now, so it looks like it's breaking out from that point. I can pretty much verify this on the 60-minute. And I already did earlier, so I kind of know. Yeah. And it's looking better now, too, because you have on the 1900-hour session, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, how it breaks above the 18 average of highs, and you have solid green candle above to follow, which is leaving the 18 average highs rising, of course. And then it follows through with another extended period higher, which makes it noticeably from the last key resistance in at 11,185 area. It follows through that with a sideways consolidation where it doesn't really go down much. It just stays in that area of where it was. And it now enters this one pretty much doing the same thing right now. But I wouldn't be surprised to wake up and see this thing at like 12,000 or even 11,800, because I realize this is in a bullish pattern for the 60-minute time frame. And if you ever want to buy on strength and that's your thing and you want those quick scalps, I'm not that kind of trader. This to me looks like maybe a decent spot to do it. Again, I don't trade that way. The only thing I generally do is, like I mentioned, I wait for markets to buy on dips and sell on peaks mainly. But I do expect there to be a good chance of this to be doing well. But when it comes down to it, long-term speaking, it looks as if this thing's ready to break out. So I talked this morning about what happens every single time lately. It's been having this pattern where the 18 average band on the daily time frame declines, price action goes well below it, and then when the 18 average switches over and starts to go bullish, that it just goes monstrously high, with every single time having significant breaks above resistance. And resistance in this case is in at around 20 grand. Thank you for tuning in, and like always, everything's your own risk and own reward. And take care. Bye-bye.